All right, let's get started. Our first story is Michael Agus. Give it up.
Sat in the back. I can't get penalized for that. So this is a story about the value of relationships between nurses and doctors, or in this case, it'll be a doctor-to-be. Hi, Tim. Yeah, it's not distracting. As a second-year medical student at Penn, I was thinking about what I wanted to be, what kind of doctor I wanted to be. And one of my advisors was a pediatric surgeon. And I said, you know, is it possible to spend the day with you and kind of see what a surgeon really does and see some operations? He said, sure thing. And the following week, I got there at 7 o'clock in the morning. I had my scrubs on. I'd never really been in the operating room, but he, gave me a little intro, kind of where to stand, how to stay out of the way, but still so you could see things. And one of the tools you use if you're an observer in the operating room, just so you know, is a stool. Put the stool down in the right spot, and you're able to see the operation. So that's what I did. In his operating room, it was him and a couple nurses, pretty low-key. First operation was a hernia repair in a boy. It was pretty cool. Opened, did the incision, opened things up, did it very quick, very efficiently. Next kid comes in, it's a hernia repair, Gotten pretty good at the anatomy here. Next kid comes in, guess what? Hernia repair. As I'm watching my third hernia repair and, trying to maintain focus and consciousness, outside the room, it's clear that there's a crowd gathering by another one of the operating rooms. And I said to him, what's going on over there? He said, oh, that's Dr. Norwood. He'll be performing the Norwood procedure. And I said, well, that sounds kind of cool. Is there any chance I could see that? He said, yeah, sure. And after his procedure was done, he went out in between the operating rooms, went over, had kind of a quiet conversation with Dr. Norwood, and then turned around and waved me over. I went over, I introduced myself, said, hi, I'm Dr. Norwood. He's kind of a horse of a guy, big guy, big clogs on. And he said, do you understand what I'll be doing here? I said, no, I don't. He said, well, this baby, 10-day-old, was born with, plumbing that it wasn't built right. So I'm going to take things apart and then put things back together in a way that works. I said, oh, okay, thank you, Dr. Norwood. That'll be great. So I went in, and I was the first one in the operating room, much bigger operating room. I took my stool, I put it down on a spot. I stood still with my hands behind. I couldn't possibly screw up by touching anything or by falling into anything. And the room slowly began to fill up. There were circulating nurses that kind of run around and bring things that the surgeon doesn't have and needs during the procedure. Anesthesiologist, the kid comes in, intubated, sedated, ready for the operation. Dr. Norwood kind of makes a grand entrance, turns on the music, blasting classical music, and takes his place at the bedside, kind of elbowing people out of the way. He's a big guy, stomping around. And he starts barking out orders. All right, here we go, people, let's go. All right, we're going to make first incision here. Scalpel. Suction. All right, and there's no suction at the moment. He makes his cut, and blood starts kind of oozing out. He says, suction. Where's the goddamn suction? There's a goddamn place. There's Children's Hospital, Philadelphia. Where can't no, he's suction at the place. And literally the room goes crazy. People are spinning around, running around, trying to troubleshoot what the hell's going on with the suction. And I, of course, I'm not moving. Hands behind my back, and I did not move until a lovely young nurse comes and tugs on my shirt and says, "You're standing on the suction." right underneath. And I slowly and quietly stepped off the stool, picked it up that had been, perfectly positioned to block the suction, moved it an inch, got back in my position, and he said, "Oh, thank God, the suction is here." And he scooped up the blood and continued with an incredibly complex operation. It was then that I knew that I was not going to grow up to be a surgeon. And it's since then that I have been continually trying to repay the debt that this nurse gave me by not destroying my career and trying to continue to support collaborative, low-key, honest, and occasionally very silent communications between doctors and nurses.
Nancy Pelosi behind the president.
Yeah, okay, good. I just have to say, Michael, you are a smart guy. I just had to say that I knew a long time ago I wasn't going to be a surgeon. Like, I wouldn't have had to, sit on the suction to figure that out, but be that as it may. It's a harrowing story. Is the baby okay, by the way? Michael, is the baby okay?
Baby, great.
Great. Okay. Does she go to the Minyan? Okay, let's do one. Name that tune.
Take me out to the ball game. You got it. Okay. These will be very short.
Oh, so wait a minute. I'm supposed to say...
Yes. Speaking of the ball game.
Speaking of which, there's a baseball game happening tonight. I can't believe you're here. You guys are like, what's wrong with you people? So here's the thing. The what? Oh, yeah, Patriots. What's that, a football team? So here's the deal. I'm supposed to announce the following. There are some people here who are very sophisticated technologically. They are DVRing the game. We are not going to be announcing scores. I know. Keep it to yourself. You have your iPhone, you have your smartphone, you have your Samsung. I don't care what you have. Keep it to yourself because you're going to ruin it for everybody else. So no announcements of scores, and God, I hope they win. Okay.